Yes, sir.
Matthew Hotard, District 5. I'm also the president of the Counter Firefighter Association. I'm going to start my 3 minutes. I have something prepared, and I'm going to run through that, and I would like to address some things that I feel like have been misrepresented up here. So first off, I want to thank everybody who's in this audience who's wearing a shirt or is here to support us. It means a lot, and it's actually overwhelming to look back in the audience and see this many people. I think it speaks volumes about our fire department, and hopefully not only you as a board, but our current fire chief, our current administration, and our new incoming administration knows that we have this much support. So it means a lot. So thank you. We're going to have a few speakers today, but I would like to address some things before the ball gets rolling. There's been a great deal of talk about implementing more medical service to the city via the fire department. To ask this of a department that is barely able to function properly as a fire service is and will be detrimental to this city for a multitude of reasons. We do not have the certified manpower to support such an endeavor, and to bring in outside personnel, which is being proposed to fill these gaps, would not only kill station morale even more, but it would exacerbate our retention issues. This wouldn't be fair to the men and women of this department, and most importantly, wouldn't be fair to the communities that we serve. There is a way to bolster our medical services, but we do not believe that this is it. Not being able to put our best foot forward should not be an option for a Class 1 department. We have all spoken briefly on this $8.92 an hour starting pay. This, for lack of better words, is sad, and I know that our chief agrees with us, and hopefully you agree with us. We somehow expect people to take this job, put on a Class 1 shirt, put their lives in the line, and then stay here with below average pay. We aren't even close to being competitive with surrounding departments, as stated, and we are losing employees at an alarming rate. Our promotional rates don't even meet state minimums, and we are now referring to captains and chiefs as financial burdens. And they are the bread and butter of our department. We have had a retention issue here in Kenner, and will continue to have a retention issue here in Kenner, and it seems to like it's getting worse. We are simply asking this. Please look at us as husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, boyfriends, girlfriends, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. See us for not only the services we provide, but for the lives we are trying to make for ourselves and our families. See our dedication and our ability to run towards danger when most are running away. Please see us as people who have lives and families and responsibilities, but also the willingness to risk everything if it means saving a life or lives. It is our job, our career, and our calling, and we are damn proud of it. It is our hope that everyone else here sees us the way that we see ourselves. And then a couple things, so thank you. And a couple of things, when we talk about this medical budget, we are not opposed to doing this if it is done the right way in the future. But we are talking about $2.9 million, which is going strictly to salaries, which our chief stated. We right now have 3 paramedics on the department. 2 are chiefs. 1 is about to retire. We have 1 working paramedic that would be able to get on that truck. We also have a medical director that we brought on that I didn't hear that was in our budget, and I'm not sure where that is. I'm not sure exactly how much we pay him. The list goes on, and I know that I'm up, but I just really hope that you look into this budget and you look and see where the money is going, and our needs that we have right now are just top tier, like Councilman Carroll said.
Thank you for your time and your comments, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your service. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Council. Good morning, Council, Chief, and the many people who came here to support the Kenner firefighters. I'm the Kenner Firefighter Association Vice President, Nicholas Zalvo, as well as a driver-operator with the Kenner Fire Department going in 9 years. I've come here today to discuss the dire straits in which our department is in. Our firefighters are on the daily asked to firefight with an aging fleet of fire trucks. NFPA 1911 recommends that a fire truck should be taken out of frontline service in 15 years. Just today, Engine 388 is our frontline truck for the University City area, assigned to the fire station that has been in a trailer for the last few years. This frontline truck was manufactured in 1999, which puts it at being built 23 years ago. Safety is paramount. Station 379, located at 34th and Williams, our city's rescue truck that historically runs the most calls, has to back into its station every single time it returns from a call due to the front garage door being out of service. Station 39, located at Vintage and Loyola, has had a trailer blocking its station back garage door since Hurricane Ida. One of the golden rules when learning to become an operator driver is you don't back up a fire truck unless you have to. There's a good reason the stations are designed to pull through. Every time you back up that heavy-duty truck, you're exposing your firefighters and the city to additional risks and liabilities that could have been avoided. The word safety comes to mind on all these fronts, especially when it comes time to look at cancer-causing carcinogens. This exposure risk is multiplied by having a gear washer out of service since Hurricane Ida that cleans personal protective equipment we wear into fires. Instead, it remains out of service today. A Kenner firefighter should be making a middle-class living in the city he puts his life on the line for from day one. From the time that rookie steps boots onto the fire truck and is exposed to all the risks we know and accept as firefighters. Starting pay rate of $8.92 is unacceptable. The word minimum should not be paired with a progressive fire department. Recently, a pay study with a notorious benefit-cutting company, PMI, was hired to do our department's pay study over the course of this last year. Just last month, benefits were cut for firefighters in the form of an educational incentive, the only program that existed to foster educational growth within our department. I asked that an educational incentive program be brought back in some form or fashion as an hourly increase, like many of the other surrounding departments do. A program that will drive this department and its firefighters to a higher education and a better public service for the citizens of Kenner. A pay matrix being forced from PMI would turn its back in the form of potential raises on the captains that lead and mentor our younger firefighters. As our captains are asked to increase their educational requirements, so should their ability to receive financial compensation. The fire department's proposed budget has outlined 2 part-time paramedics being hired from off the streets, not from within. I ask, what will happen the next hurricane comes? Where will this part-time paramedic's priorities be? Not with the citizens of Kenner. It'll be wherever their full-time paycheck comes from. We currently have 2 paramedics, one that is not a chief and that will be riding a truck. This fire department's budget has also outlined 6 firefighter/EMTs. I had the unfortunate experience of being a student in a Kenner Fire Department EMT class 2 years ago with roughly a dozen of other Kenner firefighters, which manifested into nothing but months of my wasted time and the city's wasted expenses, as this class was never come to completion.
Sir, I'm sorry your time is up. Appreciate your comments. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Landry, 72410 Magnolia Drive, and I'm here to speak on the fire department budget. As a member of this fire department for about 3.5 years, I have not had a long career here, but I do want to get perspective of a lower subordinate. I came in with a class of firefighters that was broadcasted as Kenner's biggest recruit class ever. But since then, we have lost many members to fire departments on a career path. This is due to not the lack of passion or love for the job, but mostly the neglect of personnel, gear, equipment, and stations. We're underfunded department, at times unprepared equipment-wise. Instead of shelling out money for the proposed increase in medical unit/personnel, I think it would be better used for department members' pay and especially equipment on top of that with the pay increase. Many fire members have at least one job set aside, if not more, to provide for themselves and their family. Me, myself, I'm about to married and about to have a child. And for my my insurance, for my to add my wife and child to it, it would be about 36 to 40% of my paycheck every pay period. Not much for a 3.5-year guy. Not only is our equipment out of date and disrepair, but if the need arose for a trench rescue, which we have with all these canal projects, rope rescue or hazardous scenes, which we have a lot of those. We have a lot of hazardous potential issues that could always arise. We didn't have the sufficient tools or equipment, therefore we would not be successful in that and have to call for mutual aid every time, which is not acceptable for a Class 1 department. I've been on training, and deployments for the USAR team for Task Force 9, which was started a couple years ago. And we had multiple vehicles, boats, and equipment failures just from our lack in horrible equipment. And most of the time, the city of Kenner can only supply us members. That's it. We can bring a vehicle. We can't use that vehicle because it's going to fall apart, and it happened during Hurricane Laura. Rescues are consuming, and these precious moments matter. Like I said, this mutual aid thing, it's not something that we should depend on every single time. It is vital, but not every single time. And these issues are not from a lack of speaking up or not a lack of proper forms put through. That's done. It's just they've never been really answered or talked about in depth. I put in a whole bunch of forms to try to get better equipment. I'll say I'm proud to be a firefighter, proud to serve the city of Kenner. I'm proud to come in every shift. I have not dreaded one day coming to work. I'll drive that causeway. I do not mind coming in. I like working with everybody. Doesn't matter what shift I go on. I really like working with my brothers and sisters. I like to know that. And since since this department and coming aboard in 2018, there's been multiple positions put up top. I think it's necessary, and we need to obviously care more about our backbone, which is lower subordinate firefighters. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Thank you for your time. My name is Michael Soto. I was with the Kenner Fire Department from December 2018 to February 2021 as a firefighter. I'm currently with the Jefferson Parish Fire Department. I came here today to support my fellow firefighters I worked with in Kenner. I was not asked to come here. I came here willingly, offering to help in any way I could. The fact of the matter is the men and women of the Kenner Fire Department are not being adequately paid. I pursued and was offered a better opportunity at another department, and I took it. I told Chief Morris in my exit interview that the reason I was leaving was because of the pay. I told him if the pay was as competitive in Kenner as it was in Jefferson Parish, I'd happily stay in Kenner. It's not. This department employs a great group of knowledgeable men and women that work hard every day to protect the citizens of Kenner. I didn't want to leave my friends, but I had to take the opportunity to give my family a better future financially. Since my time on in Kenner, I know at least 8 people who left Kenner for better financial opportunities elsewhere. Places where they don't have mold growing in the firehouses, they don't have insulation falling from their ceilings, where toilets have not been out of service for years, and where they're not using outdated trucks that constantly break down. Some of these issues may have been resolved since I was last there, but they were unresolved for the whole 2 years I was employed in Kenner. That's 2 years too many for these employees to endure those types of conditions. The fact of the matter is, if the pay situation is not addressed, you will continue to lose more and more firefighters. Currently, there are at least 10 Kenner firefighters I know that are exploring other jobs for financial reasons. These are firefighters that you've put time, resources, and training into. These are people you've invested money into, and you are losing them due to inadequate pay. You can continue on this path of losing knowledgeable and experienced firefighters for inexperienced new recruits immediately out the academy, or you can give these men and women the pay they deserve, putting their lives on the line to make sure you, your families, and the citizens of Kenner sleep safe at night. While we're in this room right now discussing their low pay, they're still out there manning their stations, waiting for someone in need to call. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Brian Wanzlak. I'm a firefighter with the City of Kenner. I'm just here to finish Nicholas Zalva's statement. I believe in bringing additional services to our citizens of Kenner. It is vital, but it has to be done correctly, with a plan, with a program, with at least the bare minimum of feasibility study done, and with our current fire department members. These EMT National Registry certifications are achieved and funded by the individual firefighter, off-duty, unpaid, for a majority of the hours over the course of a semester. Be aware that sprint units do not address the transport issues of today. Let us become a fully functional fire department first. Do you want to wait until it's too late? Our newly trained firefighters are already leaving at an alarming rate of 2 to 3 per year, over half a dozen in the course of the last few years, due to a starting salary going unchanged since 2006. Let's not forget to mention we all know a story about a fire department where they have lost a fellow firefighter due to substandard conditions, and it wasn't until then change happened. Fire department should not be just another statistic on that front. It's time to turn a neglected fire department that for generations has been underfunded and undermanaged into a progressive and competitive department. It is my hope that the City Council, City Administration, as well as the Fire Department Administration work with our Kenner Firefighters Association to achieve just that. Thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to tell you all that I did not plan on coming here today to speak. I came here to support, to be here for my husband, to be here for the firefighters. And in listening to the debate between city council, between the chief, I realized that there were a few issues that I think that as a wife and even as a citizen of Kenner should point out to this board for consideration. Number one, we've talked a lot about the starting pay of firefighters. Yes, it's $8.92 an hour. There's been a mention of they get a mandated increase. Has anybody ever done the math on 2% of $8.92 an hour? It's not a shocking amount of money. Has anybody compared that with the cost of living increases between 2006 and 2022? It's huge. So these men are not even catching up to cost of living increases on a regular, routine basis. They are constantly underpaid for years and years, and it's compounded. And as a wife of a fireman, I can tell you that it affects our household, but I can tell you that what is also overlooked is the sacrifices that they make for that pay, right? Everybody can say we love a fireman. Everybody can say that. Anybody can say. It's easy to say. We love the trucks. We love what they do. But do we understand what they truly sacrifice? Christmas, holidays, all of these things that they give up with their family to do the job that they signed up to do, which they happily do, right? And they will continue to do. But they should do it at a rate of pay that is fair to them. Now, in listening as a citizen, I'm a little bit concerned with some of the comments on the budget itself, right? We have these increases in pay. For example, one of the councilwomen brought up a particular increase, for example, to the chief of administration and the deputy fire chief. I think it was from 228 to 244. At the 228 budget, the state supplemental pay, if it's included in the 224 or 244, excuse me, would have been included at the 228. And so 2% of 228, if you're just lumping those amounts together, is a lot less than what's been requested. But yet in the same breath, these men have not had a raise since 2006. So is that to keep up with the cost of living? Then why aren't we keeping our firefighters up with the cost of living, right? So we have that point that is important, but also important is talking about this EMT requirement or not requirement, the option. As you heard one of these men just say, and I say testify, but come up here and speak about the incentive pay being revoked, right? These men were getting paid some additional small amount for extra training that they went and obtained. And that has been taken away from them. But yet you're going to tell them, oh, but we'll incentivize you if you become an EMT. I question, what's going to happen with this EMT program when somebody wants to be promoted? Yes, it's not going to be a requirement, but will they lose out on a promotion because they don't have this training? So that is a concern. And I think that there needs to be more transparency there. And for right now, it's just not there. And so instead, what's more important is focusing on what these men should be paid and what is a actual living wage for these individuals. And you talk about the bread and butter, the chiefs, the district chiefs. We can't leave them out, right? So somebody that's been working there 20 years who hasn't gotten a raise all this time, who's worked their way through at a less than livable wage, all of a sudden we're going to say, oh, so sorry. Yes, I do understand the importance of focusing on the firefighters. We need them, but we shouldn't lead or lose the people that are actually the ones training these young men either, and women.
Thank
So,
you, ma'am. Your time
thank
is
you.
up. And the only comment I have to make on your comments, you did very well. Talked about the sacrifice that the firemen made, and I think we all appreciate and understand the sacrifice of the families. So thank you.
Good morning, Council, or I think it's still morning. My name's Ronnie Schwartz, of course, 2008 Iowa Avenue, Council District 2 elect. 3 minutes, 3 hours. It's going to take days to go through this budget. There's so much in here you haven't even scratched the surface on. So we'll definitely have to think about it come July 1st. Mr. Mayor? Hello. I'm sure I'll work with you really strong, and we'll take care of the firemen. I'm sure that's not going to be an issue. Just got a little question for the chief over here, if you don't mind. We're no longer under the SAFE agreement, correct?
No, that ended this past year.
So it ended this past year.
Correct.
You said that was required under the SAFE grant to have an administrative assistant and a deputy chief?
I never said that. You was required to maintain a minimum number of suppression members, not administrative members.
So why do we hire these people? The deputy and assistant, or to the deputy to administration?
The two chiefs of administration came in as part of suppression with the SAFER grant to reach the minimum level that they had to maintain in order to receive the grant.
So I just asked you if it was required, you said no.
It's not, they were under suppression at the time, right? We just moved them since they're no longer part of that number, nor are they required to be because our staffing level has increased. We moved them under the administration where they should be, reflected in the budget.
So, you've got these extra chiefs. I know the department has increased. Council, when I got hired, I was employee number 31. Now we have 120. Greatly increased. I know you need one assistant. You don't need two. I know you could use one. You got another person for training that's in here. Actually, you don't have a training chief. You just have a training coordinator. I think if you're going to make that position a chief's position and not a training coordinator, to get that individual time and credit for what he's doing, because he trains the whole Kenner Fire Department in-house. One of the trucks that was required that the city buy, Ladder 377, for the SAFER grant, I can tell you, it's been down more than it's been in operation. Currently, it's been down at least a month, would you say? 377?
It's been down quite a bit.
Quite a bit, right. We're required to have that truck in operation. Have you reached out, tried to get that truck repaired yet for bids?
That truck has been under repair several times.
Right now, you got problems with the hydraulic system. Has that truck going out for bid to be repaired?
That truck should have been out to bid for repair. I know one of the chiefs of administration handles the apparatus side of the house. That truck has been in disrepair forever. Let's get something. That truck was here when I walked in.
Yes,
the
it
door.
was. Yes,
Okay,
it was. It wasn't your fault. It's not your fault.
And when I saw that, that's not that wouldn't be my choice of vehicles, but I wasn't here to make that decision. And the truck has proven what I thought would happen with that truck through experience.
Understood.
Those heavy trucks in the urban setting like this end up with a lot of problems.
Right.
And you end up spending a lot of money just to maintain.
Who's in charge of that equipment right
Schwartz.
now to be repaired?
Mr. Schwartz.
I'm sorry,
Your time
3
is
minutes up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Please come forward.
I also was not intending, my name is Lillian Arning. I live in Chardonnay Village across the way. I also was not intending on addressing this meeting. I'm glad I am here because what I am hearing is stunning to me. Number one, when my mother was in need of care at home, we hired a sitter for $10 an hour, which is way more than what you were paying your beginner firefighters. My mother's sitter never had her life in danger. And yet, these firemen, and I might also add the police, are in danger every time they go out. I find this unconscionable. And as I look around the room, I see people who either have aging parents who need help. And I can tell you right now that these sitters are costing way more than $10 an hour. They are in the range of $15 to $20, and that is just for in-home care for 8 hours. If you were talking about around-the-clock care, you were talking $75 a day per person. I am completely in shock to think that our Kenner firefighters are dedicating their lives every day and putting them in danger for a mere $8 and change. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Morning.
Morning. Hi, my name is Aaron Mishler. I'm the president of the New Orleans Firefighters Association. Just here in support of my brothers and sisters in Kenner.
Speak into the microphone a little more, please, sir.
I can answer a couple of your questions about surrounding areas and how much they make. We went through the same process. Our firefighters were starting at $10 an hour. And the reality of our times right now through the COVID pandemic is everyone is looking to hire people. It's not just police departments and fire departments, but we're in competition with restaurants and any other business in the city and around the country. So we were at $10 an hour, and we were losing some of our best and brightest to other departments. Actually, you got one of ours. Y'all stole one from us. But they were leaving in droves, and it was something that we had to address. We were actually in a state where we were closing engine houses because we didn't have enough people. It was unheard of to lose a firefighter to a resignation to leave for another department in New Orleans, and we were losing between 5 and 7 a month to go on to other opportunities. We addressed this with the mayor, and we had certain things that we were working through. And we were, like I said, we were in a part where we were closing engine houses. And one of those houses that were closed for a day, we wound up losing a life. And your chief can actually speak personally on that, because even though he wasn't on our department anymore, he was out to lunch with another retired firefighter, and they pulled the woman from the building. She wound up dying a little while later because we were understaffed with people leaving. The mayor finally caught on to what we were asking about, and we wound up raising our pay from $10 to $15 an hour. That was a big jump and a big hurdle for us in New Orleans, because New Orleans has the same problems as everyone else in the area with income coming in, especially during the pandemic. Revenue's down, but public safety is the last place to make cuts and the first place that you need to look to expand, because we do show up for everybody, no matter what. And when we show up, it's the worst day of that person's life, and we have to be there. And we don't take that responsibility lightly. So I thank you. And what I know of Chief Terrence Morris, I worked personally with him for years. If he's asking for it, he's a fair, and yet he's pragmatic and practical with what he asks for. So if what he says he needs, he's done the homework, he's studied, and he supports his guys and knows what they need. And I would appreciate y'all taking heed to what Chief Morris is asking.
Thank you for your comments and your service, sir.
Hello, I'm Brittany LaBarriere. I was not expecting to speak today. I am a communications officer for the fire department. I've only been there about 2 years. I grew up in this fire department. My dad was a volunteer, 35 years. Unfortunately, he lost his life 6 years ago due to cancer, which big part of the cancer was from the plane crash and all of the fires that he was in and all of the mold in the station. I have a daughter who is 19, just graduated. Her first job, she works at Walmart making $14 an hour. Full benefit, work full time. She's 19, just graduated. These guys risk their lives every day. I've seen it firsthand. I have lost many family members that are firemen. And try not to get emotional, but it's really touchy to me. These guys deserve more pay. I have quite a few firemen in my family. They've worked with Chief Morris in New Orleans. I have a cousin who wanted to come to Kenner. Then he looked at the pay, and he's now with St. Bernard. That was going to be another firefighter that we could have, that his dad works in New Orleans, is about to retire, and three of his uncles. Nobody applies to be a firefighter for the pay. Nobody says, oh, I'm going to be a firefighter because of the pay. When I took my job, I didn't even care about the pay. I wanted my job to help, and that's what these guys do. Every day, they put their lives on the line, like my dad did. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your comment. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Brian Mellon from District 2. I'm going to be quick because, to reiterate, it's obvious about the pay. And as you can see, there's a brotherhood amongst firemen and police. Otherwise, you wouldn't have New Orleans firemen showing up in Kenner. You got some Jefferson representatives out here. So it's obvious it is a concern metro-wide. And I heard the question asked by one of the council, what is the area of departments throughout making compared to what our guys are making? So my question back to you when you're thinking about that, and I know you're for them, Chief, but when you're thinking about it is, Kenner fires are no less hotter than East Bank and New Orleans fires, and the water is just as wet. Our men and women do the exact same job as everybody else. They deserve to be equally paid. The job is just as dangerous in Kenner as it is anywhere else. So that's all I ask, that you, whether you're the outgoing or incoming council coming in, along with the mayor, and I know he's a first responder himself, that you look into that we are as equal as our counterparts throughout the parish in this metro area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See no one else wishing to. Councilman Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd like to first thank all of the citizens, either from the city of Kenner, Jefferson Parish, or New Orleans, that came today, because, you know, this is what this is all about, to be able to come in, to express your concerns, to share with us your ideas, what you feel and how you feel it affects you, your family, and our community. Without that, we have nothing. You know, so thank you for coming in and doing that. I also like to say that, as a councilman who's been here a number of years, that all of the antiquated equipment that Chief Morris is under, Ms. Fauché, Mayor Zahn, it was there when I was on the council and before. So those situations are there. It is no one individual fault. If anything, it's our fault as a whole for the people before us not addressing that. So at some time, you have to address that. Also, I think I've been pretty clear with my opinions about the salary for particularly the younger firemen, but it is something that we as a council and the future council, the new mayor, the fire chief, and the firemen is part of. We all have a part in getting this done. You know, as my grandfather used to say, a high tide will raise all ships. So we all have a part in doing something, particularly to address some of the litigation, some of the pay raise for the younger guys. We have to do that because we all want that. We all want that. Every person on this council and before want that, but we have to make tough decisions. I think the new mayor coming in is the type of person, and the attitude will make the tough decisions, and the council will have to follow suit to make the tough decisions to do it. Because one of my objectives and one of my concerns always have been on the council is we are the city of Kenner. We are incorporated with our own police department, our own fire department, and our own EOC. Now, do we have to have a fire department and a police department? No, we do not. But we are better as a city to have our own. So those are the challenges for the new chief, the new mayor, the present mayor, and the council to ensure that we will have those for the city of Kenner. Not that JP can't support us, but everybody is more comfortable with having your own. You know, mother may have, father may have. That pretty much additive. So we are better with that. We have to make sure we have that. Even with the EOC, we actually fall under the Jefferson Parish. But it is comforting to the citizens to know that we can call our own EOC who will address it immediately, as opposed to waiting for the parish that has 400,000 people, East Bank and West Bank, to have to address. So we all understand this, but the biggest thing is we all have a role in this. Every fireman, every policeman, every councilman, the mayor, and all. We have to sit down, figure this out, and like I said, it will be a tiered, a stage plan, because it all can't happen over once. We have to prioritize it and be able to move forward to support, again, and I hate to be redundant, the younger firemen coming in who are not adequately compensated. That is where it starts right there. And it will take a few for us to get going, but that's what we have to do. And again, thank everybody for their comments. That is the task before us. And I'm sure we will do something. We will do, the new administration, the president administration, the new council, to address what we have to do, along with the support of the firemen and the policemen and the EMS. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Councilman,
Thank you,
President.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
14 Maywood, Destrehan, Louisiana. Operator Dustin Bynum. My questions is regarding the training officer. We got an email stating that the criteria for that position, at no point in time were we advised that that position has been filled until today. So all of the men and women that may have wanted that position or put in for that position, it's already gone. What if I told you if that position was solely created to save somebody's career? Because this administration did exactly what we told them not to. A spot up there was supposed to be done by promotion. We advised them that ahead of time, and they still did it the way they wanted to do it. I just think y'all need to investigate some things a little bit further. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Comment. Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, and I just wanted to comment on a couple of things. First and foremost, the folks that are here today, we really, all of us appreciate your attending today, and your presence is noted, even though you may or may not speak. And we appreciate all those who have come up to the podium and gave information, important information. That's all fantastic. We need that input. It makes a difference to us. So when we're reviewing the budget, such as we're doing today, we have a good understanding of your profession and those things that are near and dear to you. And it makes it important to us. And yet, outstanding presence in the audience today. So thank you from New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, and of course Kenner. That's all outstanding. So thank you for that. And also want to make a comment. I know Mr. Miller mentioned a minute ago, the fires are just as hot no matter where it's at, whether it's Jefferson Parish, New Orleans, or Kenner. No question about it. The surrounding areas, though, we do need to look at the pay. Just as a budgetary matter, we're looking at $2.8 million in new salary adjustments. That's huge for our little budget. So we have to look at things and understand exactly what we're looking at. So it's no question, we realize the importance of this, and thank you all for coming today and expressing your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Ostringer, New Orleans Fire Department. One of the things that struck me this morning coming in here was the number of people from New Orleans Fire Department that showed up. And those of you that follow anything in the media over the last couple of decades know that they've endured quite a bit of hardship, from 20-year back pay suits, you name it, equipment closures. So for these guys to come out here and speak to the Kenner situation says that there's some gravity to that, okay? They're not strangers to having problems and would identify if something was petty. One of the biggest concerns that I would have in your situation is the loss of incentive pay, because that affects the guys that are on the squads or the rescue company. The old adage is that when the public has a problem, they call the fire department. When the fire department has a problem, they call the rescue companies or the squads. Losing that incentive, particularly, as Chief pointed out, who I had the privilege of working with in the city, is going to be a huge thing considering you have an international airport, the rail yard, all the things that Chief Morris mentioned. Not to mention, you all are fortunate to have a relatively large influx of new people that came in within the last couple of years. You know, that's a morale issue as well as an operational and safety issue. Some of us remember Pan Am 759, things like that. All of those extra billets that were filled in job descriptions from extrication, whatever, all played a role in that. God forbid we have another incident like that. I wish that we had incentive pay and guys that were trained in all the other disciplines that the rescue companies or specialty companies do. I thank you for your time. I'll have
Few comments, sir. Thank you for your service. Madam Clerk?
Fire
Oh,
Department's presentation?
Can I, just one last closing statement? I appreciate the way the audience, the attendance here in the audience to show support of the fire service. As I said earlier in my comments, that to bring these guys to a $12 an hour level is not what it should be. They should be higher than that, but I know better than to come ask you for, since salaries is already 92% of my past budget, to ask you for a lot more than that. And I hope that would be a stepping stone to come up with some dedicated funding or something in order to get these guys where they need to be and give them the training and all these other things that they need to have, because they do deserve it. Like I said, the few lawsuits that we have is not everyone. There's a few of them. Can't make everybody happy, and I'm not trying to, but I know my goal as I sit here to protect the community, the different things I need to do that. But my biggest challenge is keeping them guys happy, because that's the ones that protect this community. So with that, thank you for consideration and this opportunity to serve and protect the community, and hopefully we can get this budget passed and move forward.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for all you do.